Welcome to Your Inspired Journey. I'm Carla Andrews, and I have the pleasure of being here with Miss Dennett Edwards. For over 20 years, she's been serving the she's been serving the underprivileged group, those who have a voice, those who do not have a voice, and really looking to connect others and with their stories, with their message. She is definitely someone you need to hear of how she's able to make an impact while she's making a difference. Welcome, Dennett. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me, Carla.
Well, I'm just excited. I mean, just before we started turning on the recording, I mean, you mentioned some great things about how we all are really interconnected and how we're able to help each other, especially a lot of times with the journey. Sometimes when we're down the street from the journey and another person is just taking off, a lot of times your story can help support that journey for someone else. Share a little bit about, of course, how did you get to this space? A little bit about the net. How did you come from what it is that you were doing? I understand you were in human resources, and then going along, taking this journey, and then bringing other people with you.
All right, Carla. Well, when the pandemic hit, maybe in March when we
Mhm.
worldwide started to shelter in place, people started to contact me from all over the world. I've worked internationally, so I've worked in the US and in Africa, in Kenya, South Africa, and Tanzania specifically. And when you work internationally, you work with people from all over the world, right?
Mhm.
And the pandemic hit, and we were all sheltering in place. People started to contact me, ask me to help them with resumes and help them find work, prepare for job interviews, do what I know of work. And I'd always been doing that since I was an undergrad. So well over 20 years, I always felt like God gave me the gift and I needed to share that with people of finding a job, preparing them for work, that kind of thing. So I've always done that for free. But this was the first time that so many people contacted me at one time. So I had literally like 55 people contacting me. And I
Wow.
initially jumped in and said, okay, I'm gonna help you write your resume. And some people needed curriculum vitaes out of the country. And then I said, wait a minute, it's better to teach a man to fish, right? So
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
said to the people, most of them were contacting me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And so I said, hey, if I start a Facebook group, would you all come over and I can teach you how to do some of this stuff, right? And I reached out to some people that I knew and I said, hey, I want to start this group. We come on in, and everyone said, yeah. You know, I reached out to some HR professionals and started the group. And immediately 55 people joined. And
Wow.
55 people joined immediately. Today we have 795 people in the group this morning,
A nice
and on
size.
Facebook.
Yeah.
On LinkedIn, we have another 200. So we definitely have over 1,000 people between the two spaces. And I started the group. And what we do is I bring professionals like yourself, Carla. I bring professionals, all different kinds of professionals, into our group. They volunteer their time and they teach us stuff. And some of it is very structured, like resume writing or how to
Mhm.
approach
Mhm.
a behavior based interview. But then some other stuff is just, hey, Carla, you're a professional woman. You've been doing this and you're at the top of your game. Tell us how you got there, right? And what happens with these stories? Yeah, resume writing is great. Teaching somebody how to interview is
Mhm.
great. But I believe that one of the best things we're doing that's gonna make the most impact is the stories, because
Yes,
where you are
definitely.
today, where you are today, Carla, you might be trying to get somewhere in the next 5 years, but where you are today, someone is where you were 20 years ago and they can't see
Mhm.
themselves where you are today. But when they hear your story, they say, oh, I can do that. You know, we have people who were homeless and now they own successful businesses in Silicon Valley who have come to talk to us. We have people who were in the military and left the military, no education, and thought, you know, PTSD and all kinds of stuff, and thought I would never be, you know, successful again, and now a
Wow.
successful, you know, executive recruiter. So we have all kinds of people in the group. And one of the things that we share in common is all of our group members are from marginalized groups, right? And you can be marginalized by race,
Anything, yeah.
ethnicity, class, income level, sexual orientation, anything. We have people who on the outside, you say, well, that's an attractive white male. He's privileged. He's not marginalized. And then he comes and tells you, yes, I am. And this is how I was marginalized. But in spite of that, I overcome, And so
That's it.
yeah, so we bring people together. I have not done any training yet. Everyone wants me to, the people who know me especially. I just bring professionals in because I know I don't know everything, So I bring the
I wouldn't
professionals.
say that.
No, I don't know everything, like I know
Yeah.
some things.
No, okay, yeah. I thought
Yeah.
you said anything.
Oh,
I mean,
no, I don't
everything.
know
Yeah.
everything. Sorry. But I know enough to know what I don't know,
Mhm.
And
Very
so,
important.
yes, the things that I don't know or I don't know well enough to say I can teach someone. I look for professionals and I say, hey, would you like to come in and talk to us? And we've had some amazing people come in. And again, it's not just, and our training is not traditional training. It is, maybe Carla says, I know about running a successful podcast. And I say, okay,
Mhm.
come on, Carla, come and talk to us. And you say, okay, I'm going to give you the best 5 tips of running a successful or starting a podcast, right? To set it up for success. And you come in and you say, Dennett, I'll give you that for 30 minutes. Perfect. So we go on Zoom and we stream it into our group. We record it and we stream it on YouTube. And you talk to us. You tell us, what you know about a successful podcast. Now, everybody always says, Dennett, I'm giving you 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and they end up staying an hour, hour and a half, but I'm gonna leave that alone. Everybody stays longer than they intend. But you don't.
Sure.
Mhm.
No, I mean, I love that because definitely we can all learn from each other. And I want to know your story because
Oh, my
this is
story.
great.
Hmm.
But how did what's giving you, what inspired you to do this, right? Because you've been in HR, you've
Hmm.
been in the nonprofit sector, but what inspired you to take this journey of impacting others through, especially focusing on the marginalized, underserved populations?
Uh, I would say what has been driving me to do this is I come from a single parent, family. My mom raised me, and it was difficult. It wasn't it wasn't a terrible, terrible child, but it was difficult for my mom. But one of the things that my mother and my father did, my father was in my life, is they said, go to school, do well, and you're going to be successful. And I believed that, Carla, right? And that's not true. Okay, that was the
It's not.
narrative. That's not true. You don't, it worked for me, but it didn't work for me just because I went to school. While I was in school, people saw something in me. People helped me, and many times they were white folks, and that's okay, right? People saw that, oh, they were surprised I was smart or I could write a complete sentence, and they helped me. People also told me, and they weren't my parents or my peers, said, you have to build relationships, right? You
That's
have
right.
to, yes, you have to surround yourself with different types of people. And so I learned that, and that's what helped me excel in my career. And I'm a finance and HR professional. I usually a chief operating officer, or my last position was regional deputy director for administration for 3 countries in Africa. But what drives me is many people like me from marginalized groups, they still get that narrative from their parents. Go to school,
Yeah. Yeah.
do well, and everything will be okay. And that is not the case. And I needed, when I saw so many people contacting me who have degrees, some of them have master's degrees, and now faced with unemployment and underemployment
Yes.
and just didn't know what to do. I said, oh, well, do you have a mentor? Do you have a network? And people been in a job force for 15 years and don't have a network. So they're
Yeah.
calling me for a resume, or can you help me? And I said, there's something about us, people from marginalized groups, that we don't know. It's some secret. And that's it. It's that we have to connect with other people. We have to
Mm-hmm.
put ourselves in situations where we can learn from others, right? And we have to understand that sometimes who you know is more
Makes a
important than
big
what
difference.
you know or what degrees you have. And I wanted us to understand that. One of the things we really do in the group is we teach people how to network, right? We teach them how to network. We teach them the importance of having a large network of
Mm-hmm.
diverse
Mm-hmm.
people. And one of the things we say is your network equals your net worth, right?
So, so
And
true.
yes, these are things that people from marginalized groups, many of us got the same narrative I got from my parents. And I needed to get the education,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes.
But I also, yeah, I remember being in school and being so concerned about getting a good grade. I didn't join the clubs, you know,
Mhm.
I didn't network. I didn't do a lot of things that I could have done in my undergraduate career that could have positioned me to have greater success earlier in my career. And
So,
so,
so let's stop here for one sec because a lot of times the person, when you're saying the word marginalized,
mhm,
they're like, "What do you mean by?" Let's define for the audience. What
okay.
do you mean by a marginalized population? Because
Mhm.
some people may just not understand. It's just like, okay, wait a minute, am I in one? Am I not in one? So let's help define that, and
Okay,
so they
that's a
can even
great question.
understand why, why you're taking this journey
Mhm.
and being inspired to helping those in this, particular group.